Most people who receive Social Security believe that the IRS and the Social Security Administration are completely separate from each other, that what the IRS does with its systems has no connection to the amount that shows up in their bank account each month from Social Security. That is not actually how it works, and the 2026 IRS system change has created a specific point of section between IRS income reporting and Social Security payment calculations that is causing some recipients to see different net payment amounts than they expected, not because the benefit was cut, but because of how Medicare premiums and tax withholding interact with IRS data updates. So today we are going to explain exactly what the 2026 IRS system change is, how it connects to Social Security payments, and why some recipients are seeing different figures in their accounts directly from IRS and SSA official guidelines in plain language. I am Andrew, and I have spent time going through the IRS's 2026 system modernization updates, the SSA's income-related monthly adjustment amount guidelines, and how updated IRS income data flows into Social Security net payment calculations. Everything here comes directly from irs.gov and ssa.gov. Before we get into this, if you find this kind of plain language explanation of Social Security, Medicare, and IRS rules useful, subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, this channel covers one benefit topic in the same straightforward format, with no pressure and no alarm. Now let us get into exactly what the 2026 IRS system change is, how it touches Social Security payments, and why some seniors are seeing amounts that look different from what they received in prior months. The most common misunderstanding about IRS system changes in Social Security is that the two agencies operate in completely independent silos, that the IRS handles taxes and the SSA handles benefits, and that no IRS update could ever affect what a Social Security recipient receives each month. This misunderstanding is completely understandable because for most of a recipient's experience, the two systems do feel separate. Your Social Security payment arrives on a predictable schedule from the SSA, and your tax obligations are handled separately with the IRS each spring. But here is how it actually works. There is one specific and important point where IRS data directly affects the net amount of a Social Security payment, the income-related monthly adjustment amount, known as IRMAA, which determines Medicare Part B and Part 500 premium surcharges for higher income recipients. The IRS provides the income data the SSA uses to calculate IRMAA. When the IRS updates its data systems or processing timelines, it can affect when and how IRMAA determinations are made, which in turn affects the Medicare premium deducted from a recipient's Social Security payment, and therefore the net amount that reaches their bank account. We are going to go through each part of this in detail so that by the end of this video you have a complete and accurate picture exactly how the 2026 IRS system change connects to Social Security net payments. To make this concrete, let me use an example. Consider someone like Dolores. Dolores is 70 years old, lives in Tucson, Arizona, and spent her career as a corporate accountant before retiring at 67. She receives a Social Security retirement benefit of $2,840 per month and has Medicare Part B and Part 500. Because her income in prior years exceeded certain thresholds, she is subject to IRMAA surcharges on her Medicare premiums. In February 2026, Dolores noticed her net Social Security deposit was about $47 lower than it had been in January. Nothing had changed with her benefit amount. Her COLA increase had already been applied in January. She had not requested any changes to her account. She assumed the SSA had made an error. Here is what was actually happening in Dolores' situation. The SSA had received updated income data from the IRS reflecting her 2024 tax return, which had been processed through the IRS's updated 2026 data system on a revised timeline. That updated income data triggered a recalculation of her IRMAA surcharge tier, moving her from one premium bracket to the next. The result was a higher Medicare Part B premium deducted from her Social Security payment, which reduced her net deposit by $47 per month. Her gross Social Security benefit had not changed. Her IRMAA tier had changed based on updated IRS income data. Understanding the connection between the IRS data update and the Medicare premium calculation would have answered her question the same day she noticed the difference. This is not unusual. IRMAA recalculations triggered by updated IRS income data are one of the most common reasons Social Security recipients see unexpected changes in their net monthly deposit amount. What the 2026 IRS system change actually is, let us start with the foundation. In 2026, the IRS continued its multi-year modernization of its data processing infrastructure, a program that involves updating how the agency receives, processes, stores, and shares tax return data with other federal agencies. According to IRS.gov, these updates are part of the IRS's strategic operating plan, which includes improvements to processing speed, data accuracy, and interagency data sharing capabilities. One of the agencies that receives IRS income data is the Social Security Administration. The SSA uses IRS tax return data, specifically modified adjusted gross income figures from 2 years prior, to determine whether a Medicare recipient's income exceeds the IRMAA thresholds. In 2026, the SSA is using 2024 tax return data to set IRMAA determinations. The 2026 IRS system updates affected the timeline and format in which that 2024 data was transmitted to the SSA, which in turn affected when some recipients' IRMAA determinations were recalculated. You might be wondering, does the IRS system change affect my Social Security gross benefit amount? The answer is no. The gross benefit, the amount the SSA calculates based on your earnings record, is not determined by IRS data. Only the Medicare premium deduction, which affects your net deposit, is connected to IRS income reporting through the IRMAA process. How IRMAA works and why it causes different net payment amounts. Now that we understand the IRS connection, we can look at IRMAA specifically. IRMAA stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. According to Medicare Gov, IRMAA is an additional surcharge added to the standard Medicare Part B and Part 500 premiums for beneficiaries whose income exceeds certain thresholds. The SSA administers IRMAA on behalf of Medicare, and the surcharge is deducted directly from the Social Security payment of recipients who are enrolled in Medicare and subject to the adjustment. This next part is where it gets more specific. The IRMAA thresholds for 2026 are based on 2024 modified adjusted gross income. According to SSA Gov, the standard Medicare Part B premium in 2026 is $185 per month. Recipients whose 2024 MAGI exceeds $106,000 for individuals or $212,000 for married couples filing jointly are subject to IRMAA surcharges that increase their Part B premium above the standard rate. The surcharge tiers go up to a maximum Part B premium of $628.90 per month for the highest income bracket. Most Social Security recipients pay the standard $185 Part B premium and are not subject to IRMAA. The SSA estimates that approximately 8% of Medicare Part B enrollees pay IRMAA surcharges. Those who are in the IRMAA range are the recipients most likely to see a change in their net Social Security deposit when IRS income data updates cause a tier recalculation. This applies in most cases. The exception involves recipients who experienced a significant income reduction since the tax year being used for IRMAA determination. These recipients can request a life-changing event review from the SSA using Form SSA 44, which allows the SSA to use more recent income data when calculating IRMAA instead of the 2-year prior tax return data the IRS has on file. In Dolores' situation specifically, her 2024 income, as updated in the IRS's revised processing timeline, placed her in the second IRMAA tier rather than the first, increasing her Part B premium from $259 to $370 per month. That $111 monthly difference was partially offset by her COLA increase, resulting in the net $47 reduction she noticed in her February deposit. Her gross benefit had increased. Her net deposit had decreased because the premium increase outpaced the COLA addition for her specific income tier. What to do if your net Social Security deposit changed unexpectedly? And finally, this is the piece that ties everything together. If your net Social Security deposit changed in 2026 and you are not sure why, the first step is to check whether you are subject to IRMAA. According to SSA Gov, the SSA mails an IRMAA determination notice to every affected recipient each fall, informing them of their surcharge tier for the following year. If you received that notice in late 2025, it would have shown you the premium amount that would be deducted starting January 2026. If you did not receive a notice, or if your deposit changed in a way that does not match your IRMAA notice, logging into your My Social Security account at SSA Gov will show your current Medicare premium deduction amount alongside your gross benefit. Comparing those two figures will tell you whether the change in your net deposit is explained by a premium adjustment. You might be wondering if the IRS provided updated income data that changed my IRMAA tier. Can I appeal that determination? The answer is yes. According to SSA guidelines, you have the right to appeal an IRMAA determination if you believe the income data the SSA used was incorrect, or if you experienced a qualifying life-changing event such as retirement, divorce, or the death of a spouse that significantly reduced your income since the tax year being used. The standard Medicare Part B premium in 2026 is $185 per month. The highest IRMAA surcharge tier results in a Part B premium of $628.90 per month. The difference between those two figures, $443.90 per month, or approximately $5, $327 per year, illustrates why an unexpected shift in IRMAA tier has a meaningful effect on net Social Security income for affected recipients. One thing worth understanding about how the IRS system change connects to your overall tax picture is that the Medicare premiums deducted from your Social Security payment, including IRMAA surcharges, are considered medical expenses for federal income tax purposes. According to IRS Publication 502, Medicare premiums paid are deductible as medical expenses to the extent that total medical expenses exceed 7.5% of adjusted gross income. For recipients paying higher IRMAA surcharges, tracking those premium amounts can be relevant at tax time. This is not a warning, just something worth knowing so you have the complete picture. Before we finish, let me answer 3 questions that come up most often about the 2026 IRS system change and Social Security payment differences. Question 1. My Social Security deposit went down in 2026. Does that mean my benefit was cut? Answer. Not necessarily. A reduction in your net deposit does not mean your gross benefit was reduced. The most common reason for a lower net deposit is a change in the Medicare premium deducted from your payment, either from an IRMAA tier change or from the standard Part B premium increase that took effect in January 2026. Log into your My Social Security account to compare your gross benefit and your Medicare premium deduction side by side. Question 2. How do I find out which IRMAA tier I am in for 2026? Answer. The SSA mails IRMAA determination letters each fall. If you misplaced yours, your current IRMAA tier and associated premium amount are visible in your My Social Security account at sa.gov. You can also call 1-800-772-1213 and ask a representative to confirm your current Medicare premium deduction and the income tier it is based on. Question 3. Can I ask the SSA to use my 2025 income instead of my 2024 income for IRMAA? Answer. Yes, under certain conditions. If you experienced a qualifying life-changing event in 2025 or 2026 that significantly reduced your income, such as retirement, reduced work hours, divorce, or the death of a spouse, you can file Form SA-44 to request that the SAA use more recent income data. The SAA will review the request and adjust your IRMAA determination if the documentation supports it. Everything we covered today applies generally, but your specific income level, Medicare enrollment, and tax filing situation may have details that change how the 2026 IRS system update affects your net Social Security deposit. The most reliable way to get your exact answer is ssa.gov, where your My Social Security account shows your gross benefit, your Medicare premium deduction, and your net payment side by side. For IRMAA appeal questions, Form SSA-44 is available at ssa.gov, and the SSA main line at 1-800-772-1213 can walk you through the process. For Medicare premium questions specifically, Medicare Gov and 1-800-MEDICARE are the appropriate contacts. For tax deductibility of Medicare premiums, IRS Publication 502 at irs.gov covers medical expense deductions in full detail. And if you need free in-person help, the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116 can connect you with a local benefits counselor. These resources are free, they are official, and they will give you answers specific to your situation, not general answers like this video does. One factual note before we finish. The IRS and the SSA both communicate by mail, not by phone calls claiming your Social Security payment changed because of an IRS system update, and asking you to verify your banking information, not by texts saying your account needs to be updated to reflect the new IRS data, and not by emails requesting your Social Security number or tax information to process a payment correction. If you receive communication like that, it is not from either agency. You can verify any SSA communication by calling 1-800-772-1213 and any IRS communication by calling 1-800-829-1040 directly. I am curious, was there a specific part of how IRS income data connects to your Social Security net payment that you found most unclear before watching this? Leave it in the comments. The most common questions become future videos. That is the 2026 IRS system change and why some seniors are seeing different Social Security payment amounts, explained as clearly as I can put it. If something is still unclear, the comment section is open and I read every question. If this was useful, share it with someone who noticed a different deposit amount in 2026 and was not sure where to start looking for the explanation. I am Andrew. I will see you in the next one.